If it seemed like the band Why Don't We popped up virtually overnight, that's because they pretty much did. After linking up, they were promoted by their friend, the famous YouTuber Logan Paul, and started accumulating their own dedicated fan base. There are 5 members of this band, so let's get to know them a little bit better. Wait until you hear the shocking facts about these cool dudes. Before we get going, make sure to like this video and hit the subscribe button for more awesome content from the trendy. Now, let's get started. Good luck charm. Performing in front of audiences can be a little bit nerve-wracking, even for stars like Why Don't We? Thankfully, band member Corbin Besson has a trick for dealing with this situation. His mother gave him a special ring before embarking on tour and told him to wear it when he misses home. Corbin loves the ring so much that he ends up wearing it every show and in all of his music videos. He says wearing his ring makes him feel like he has a piece of home with him wherever he goes. Fan appreciation. If you've ever gone to a concert, you've probably seen fans wearing homemade shirts or holding up signs they made themselves. Maybe you've even done this for your favorite band as well. This is something that the guys in Why Don't We love to see. You might not think the guys would have the time to appreciate the homemade signs and merch, but they claim they love seeing just how creative their fan base can be. This sounds like a perfect excuse to get out the markers and poster board for their next show. Zac Caron. The youngest member of the group is Zac Caron, who describes himself as a ping pong enthusiast. He grew up in Dallas, Texas, with a younger brother named Ryan and a younger sister named Reese. Prior to joining up with Why Don't We, Zac was working to record music as a solo artist. He created a video of himself singing the Shawn Mendes song Stitches while at school, and it ended up getting posted online. This was Zac's first time going viral, but we're guessing it definitely won't be his last. Jack Avery. Before getting together with the other members of Why Don't We, band member Jack Avery had another famous collaboration. Do you remember Alex Lee, better known as Alex from Target? He rose to social media stardom when someone snapped a picture of himself working at his local Target. Jack and Alex worked on a short film together called Fearless 5. In addition to singing, Jack Avery can also play the guitar and piano. He also writes his own songs and used to tour as a solo artist. This singing superstar hails from Pennsylvania and has 4 sisters. Corbin Besson. Although Corbin Besson was born in Texas, his family later packed up and moved to Fairfax, Virginia. The members of Why Don't We have huge social media followings now, but Corbin has been accumulating fans for a long time. Prior to joining WDW, he released a solo single called The Only One. He also streamed content on YouNow, where he amassed tons of fans. It wasn't unusual for Corbin to have over 100,000 followers tuning in for his live broadcast. One of his many fans is undoubtedly his girlfriend, YouTube star Christina Marie Harris. She creates video blogs on YouTube under the handle Beauty Chickie. Daniel Seavey. If you're a fan of the popular show American Idol, you might think that Daniel Seavey looks a little bit familiar. That's because this pop star actually competed on season 14 of the show. Although he didn't win, he has clearly done just fine for himself since filming wrapped up. He hails from Portland, Oregon, where he lived with his 4 siblings. Daniel has been singing since he was only 7 years old and isn't planning to stop anytime soon. Like his bandmate, Zac Caron, Daniel also describes himself as a ping pong enthusiast. According to his Instagram bio, he's also a happy kid who loves people. Jonah Maury. He started out streaming content on YouNow and accumulated a group of dedicated fans. This led to him eventually releasing his very first full-length album as a solo artist called When the Daylight's Gone. Jonah participated in the 2014 Digitour, along with other big names in social media including Cameron Dallas and Nash Grier. Before he became popular online, Jonah grew up in the town of Stillwater, Minnesota with his 3 siblings. Free. If you haven't seen the Why Don't We video for the song Free yet, you should probably check it out as soon as possible. It features the guys exploring New York City together and running a little bit wild. It meant to show the day in the life of a boy band, and the guys stopped by iconic places like Central Park and Times Square. At the time it came out, it was their favorite video yet, according to the members of WDW. Running around New York City all day was apparently a total blast to film. The beginning. Before forming Why Don't We, the band members were working on becoming famous as individual artists. Despite being in their teens, they were recording music as solo musicians and amassing enviable social media followings. Why Don't We has been so successful because they weren't a group of unknown artists before coming together as a band. They were able to pool their knowledge, resources, and fans and bring that all together to form Why Don't We. In fact, their name comes from the fact that the guys asked each other, why don't we make a band? They decided they could create better content if they joined forces. collaboration. Going from being an individual artist to being just one member of a band had to be a difficult transition. But according to Corbin Besson, it helped that the guys were all friends with one another before they started making music together. He had even toured with Jack and Zac in the past. They weren't exactly thrown together and forced to harmonize. They found fast friends in one another and realized they just kind of clicked. According to Zac, they feel their connection strongest when they're all on stage together. Jonah claims that having 4 other people by your side helps ease the burden and pressure that comes with show business. Roles. While we know that the guys work well as a group, they obviously each bring their own individual skills and talents. When asked about his role in the group, Zac Caron responded that he feels like the janitor because he's always cleaning up after his bandmates. He also says that Jack Avery is the funniest member of WDW, and Jonah Maury is who he goes to for advice. Corbin Besson is apparently the brains of the operation, and the guys consider Daniel Seavey to be a musical genius. Clearly, these guys all have different skill sets and have found a way to work together. Boy bands. Prior to forming their own, the members of Why Don't We didn't see themselves as joining a boy band. They thought it would be too complicated to coordinate with other musicians. That's the reason Why Don't We sounds like such a question. But that didn't stop them from listening to other boy bands themselves. Corbin enjoys classic music from the Beatles, while Daniel and Jonah enjoy NSYNC and Backstreet Boys respectively. Zac claims his favorite boy band is One Direction. Romance. We know that Corbin Besson is dating beauty YouTuber Christina Marie, better known as Beauty Chickie. But if you have a crush on another one of the guys, you might be in luck. They've admitted that if the connection was there, they wouldn't be opposed to dating a fan. But their approaches might need a little bit of work. According to Zac, his favorite pickup line is, "Are you a fart? Because you just blew me away." Yikes. That one might need a little work. When asked if they have a celebrity crush, the guys revealed they wouldn't mind serenading Selena Gomez. Fortune. In addition to being famous, the guys have obviously made a ton of cash by performing with Why Don't We. Band member Jack Avery had something special in mind when he first started saving his paychecks. His sister Isla had always wanted to visit the most magical place on earth, but lacked the funds to do so. After saving up for 2 years, she could barely afford the bare minimum Disney experience. Thankfully, her big brother Jack was able to swoop in and make her dreams of going to Disney World come true. According to Jack, seeing his little sister smile was the best feeling in the world. Influence. Besides other boy bands, the members of Why Don't We have drawn a ton of inspiration from fellow performer Ed Sheeran. He's been a big inspiration for the entire group, and Why Don't We finally got a chance to meet their hero. They ran into Ed Sheeran backstage at iHeartMedia's Jingle Ball, and were thrilled that their hero knew who they were. According to Why Don't We, Sheeran was incredibly down-to-earth and easy to talk to. When asked about their other musical inspirations, Corbin claimed to be a huge Frank Ocean fan, while Zac admires John Bellion. Addiction. When you're a star, people tend to want to know every little thing about you. When asked what personal facts he would like to share with his fans, Jack Avery wanted to talk about his addiction. But don't worry, the thing he's addicted to is chewing gum. And not just any gum, but specifically Icebreaker Cinnamon Ice Cubes. He admits to chewing up to 4 pieces at a time and doesn't see himself stopping anytime soon. At least he's willing to share with his bandmates, or so he says. Special skill. We all have our own special talents, but there is one thing Zac Caron is totally unable to do. Although it can be gross, it's pretty common. Of course, we're talking about burping. Zac claims he just doesn't know how, and his parents say he didn't do it even as a child. But his bandmates couldn't resist putting this to the test. They've even tried giving him tons of soda to see if the carbonation would produce a response. Despite this, Zac's streak of not burping continues. Instruments. Long before he started learning to sing, Daniel Seavey was making music using a variety of instruments. When he was only 4 years old, he got his start playing his sister's toy piano. According to Daniel, he can play over 20 instruments at this point. He has an ear for music and learns new instruments with ease. Just a few of them are the recorder, viola, bass, and violin. But when it comes to his favorite instrument, Daniel confesses the cello is the instrument he enjoys playing the most. He loves the unique sound he can create using nothing but a cello. Traveling. The members of Why Don't We have accomplished so much at relatively young ages. So what's next on their bucket list? It seems as if the group members are looking forward to getting out there and traveling as much as possible. Both Corbin and Jonah won't be content until they've traveled all over the world and experienced tons of different cultures. Zac is looking forward to visiting Europe at least once, and Daniel has the oddly specific goal of flying through a mountain. We can't wait to see where these guys go, if they ever decide to take a moment off from making music. What do you love most about Why Don't We? And who is your favorite member? Be sure to tell us in the comments section. Then click on the subscribe button for the latest videos from the Trendy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.